came out pretty good, pretty strong, pretty smooth. I supported this area with some Tengujo, and I think it came out good. It's just a bit flimsy as far as the paper goes. This is still drying. I just did that as if it lost some sizing in the wash. But I think the paper was already pretty flimsy. I remember seeing it. So okay, we'll deal with it. We'll see if we can deal with it. I am done with washing the interior pages. The problem I noticed is that the flimsiness of the paper after the wash, right? Like I can hardly like move it without causing tears in it, right? You can see some of the tears here, I would say. So it feels weaker to me, right? So I don't know if that's has to do with the calcium hydroxide, but I'm looking at the earlier pictures of this book. Wow, so thin, so flimsy. Washed out the acid, you have an alkaline reserve, but the paper now is so thin and so weak that I don't feel comfortable with the way the cellulose fibers are in this book are going to hold long term. So can we do something to strengthen the fibers? So I've been doing some research. My research actually started a long time ago with looking at ways of getting rid of fungal stains. And there was one paper written from China on conservation and I actually corresponded with the author of the paper. And briefly, right, I corresponded with him about certain things, but essentially the assay I tried to remove the fungal stain on my book didn't work. And what he used in it, he used 7% betaine solution, which is a biosurfactant, and 3% papain, which is an enzyme that can act on proteins. It's a proteolytic enzyme. And I thought maybe the assay could work on fungal removal from interior wraps of an Amazing Spider-Man comic that I flattened it, desaturated. It didn't work. The comic was way too far gone. The stains were very deep and penetrated the bilayer of the wraps, so you couldn't even do anything with that. But one thing I noted also in the article says that paper becomes stronger because of the betaine. I feel like it's weighing heavier, right? It has a more texture to it overall. Well, the paper is stronger, I feel, because of the betaine. So I thought maybe why not try betaine on these wraps and see how they go. So my idea is just to wet them with betaine and see what happens, right? For how long? Maybe I would say 2 minutes is plenty. And then not to rinse them, just dry them out and see if I gain any strength in these papers. Sit for 2.5 minutes or so, take it out without rinsing and just dry it out with paper towels and see what the result's gonna look like. Here's the second wrap. So I rinsed the bucket, of course, with water before I get rid of that green stuff that came out. Again, 100 mils, you could make 200 mils if you want. Hey everyone, so I think the betaine 2-minute baths worked. The paper does have better body to it. This particular sheet is still just with the calcium hydroxide. So I did a control, some with betaine, some with calcium hydroxide. And I found out that the ones with betaine have a better body, but even then I didn't think it was enough, so I had to rebrush them again with betaine. So they got one bath with betaine, one brushing with betaine, and then with the second brushing I end up fixing the tears that you see in the book. So you can do Tengujo repair on these when you brush them second time with betaine. So the tensile strength on this paper is very weak. I mean, things, you can just touch them and you cause rips here and there, right? So what I'm going to do is brush this with betaine twice. So the first, I brush it and then I let it dry. Then I brush it again, and the second brushing, I'm going to go ahead and fix these tears, right? Okay, here's the first brushing. You can use a brush dedicated to betaine, you can use a brush dedicated to gelatin, that sort of thing. And so this is a way of, I mean, this is, betaine has been shown to be a good contributor to the tensile strength of the paper. So overall, what we're going to do now, let this dry, air dry, and come back and reapply betaine a second time. And then with the second application, I end up repairing these tears here. So I have Tengujo tissue, and I use Tengujo for that purpose.